Welcome back in, Frostburg State fans, to another season preview, and today we have softball with head coach Bill Vasko. Coach, coming off a year in which you finished second place in the North Division in the MEC, a pretty talented year coming into really your first full season in Division II. Just want to get some of your overall thoughts on the team this year and sort of some of your expectations of where you expect them to play and land in the MEC as well.
So obviously we lost 5 seniors, so we have some holes to fill. It was nice to actually have a full fall experience because we didn't get that opportunity last year to play any fall games. So we played a full slate of games, had a full regular practice throughout the fall. During the fall season and into individuals. So, we had a lot of opportunity to get in a lot of work that we weren't able to do last year, which has really helped. We have a pretty big roster this year compared to years past. We're at 22 players, which typically we've been right around 16 or so, and a big freshman class with 12 players coming in. I'm pretty excited just about the overall talent on the team and the depth of the team. We're deep at a lot of positions, and it's added a lot of competition, and it's going to make a lot of tough decisions for me when I start to put some lineups together on opening day. But just really anxious to get started. It's a little different dynamic this year where we're starting a couple weeks earlier in terms of playing real games. So a little less practice time coming back from break, and not sure if we'll even be able to get outside on the turf, let alone on dirt, before we open up. But just excited to get back to playing again and feel a little more comfortable that we at least had some games under our belt in the fall and we're not kind of blindly walking into things. So kind of fine-tuning some things now in our preseason practices as we prepare for opening day here in just over 2 weeks.
A little bit difficult getting out on the turf with the amount of snow that's out there. Sure. You talked about losing the 5 seniors that you had, and 5 very talented seniors that were sort of just natural leaders there in the locker room as well. Coming into this year, there's only 2 seniors, Ava Ganibas and Kennedy Batchelor, and 1 junior in Bree Powell. Have they sort of been just stepping up and just taking that leadership role, considering they're the upperclassmen, and it's sort of, in a way, their team to run now in terms of being those vocal leaders?
Yeah, absolutely. Bree has always been a very vocal person on and off the field, so I feel like she's pretty comfortable stepping into that role. Ava and Kennedy, we're a little less vocal during practice, and we've had some discussions about stepping up in opportunities both on and off the field to be good leaders, and I think they've really become more comfortable in that role over time, and especially coming back now as we're starting to ramp things up, I've really seen them step up and help out the younger players during practice, and that's a huge benefit because, like you said, we did lose some really good leadership. 4 of those 5 seniors had played for me for 3 years since my first year. And one part that is nice, we've had some staff changes over break, and Leah Ramey and Taylor McCarty, who had graduated last year, are now helping out in some graduate assistant roles for me, so they'll be around a little bit more. So that's nice to have them back in those roles. But we're excited, even though we have a small group as senior and juniors, that they're going to do a good job and they're going to be big contributors on the field as well. And they're setting the example for our sophomores and freshmen in how to be good leaders. And I like people to step up no matter what year they are. And we have some natural leaders in the sophomore and freshman classes who are also starting to feel more comfortable in those roles. So it's a good blend of leadership right now throughout all 4 classes.
You talked about some of the youth and the freshmen, sophomores of this year. Last year, coming in, there were a lot of freshmen that came in and got some meaningful playing time throughout the season where, it wasn't necessarily like you're going to get an at-bat in 2 to 3 at-bats every single game, but you're going to contribute to this team. How valuable has it been for those sophomores where just coming into college and COVID kind of ruined a lot of, what would be a natural experience for them, but they got that playing time, they got to sort of feel things out, and now, like you said, they've had that full off season, but in terms of last year, being able to play that many games, how much has that helped them?
It's helped them a lot in terms of just comfort of knowing what to expect in a game type environment. And, even though we did have a full slate of games in the fall, I think our freshmen are, still going to have some eye-opening experiences once we get into real competition where, those sophomores who've kind of been through it already have that under their belt, and that will help them out. And it's also nice that they understand what we're trying to accomplish on the field and during practices, that they can go right at it, and then they can also teach, what is a large freshman class, and there's a lot of learning there. And when you have 12 of them, you're trying to get everybody on the same page. Just the experience in general and understanding what we're trying to do not only helps them feel good about what they're doing in the games, but also in practice and in teaching that to people who are new to the program. So I think that's going to be really valuable. We'll have a good mix of sophomores in the lineup on opening day, and I'm expecting some freshmen to be in there as well. But it's nice knowing that you have a lot of returners who are going to feel comfortable stepping on that field on opening day and know what to expect when we go into competition.
Talking about this team's style of play, there's not a ton of power throughout the lineup. I mean, some people, they're going to hit their home runs and get some doubles and triples here and there, but this team really, their way of winning is to get on base, use their speed around the base paths, and make the opposing team really into forcing mistakes that, if you drop a ball or if you let a player go without realizing it, they're going to score on you. Is that, sort of the same philosophy as it is this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're still working on developing more power. I mean, our goal is to hit extra base hits, no matter how they come. I would like to see a little more power, and we're trying to get there. And I think with what we're doing in the weight room and hitting wise, we'll be a little better there. But the speed factor, it may be shocking to some, but I think we're even faster this year than what we've been in the past. So we just did some testing last week, and the numbers were eye-opening to me. The number of people who are running the speeds that they're running compared to last year. And Kat Treff was our fastest player last year with Bree Powell breathing down her neck. We lost Kat due to graduation. Bree's back, but we've got several players who are right around Bree's speed as well. So our goal last year was 100 stolen bases, and we fell a little bit short because we had a reduced season. I've put the 100 number back up there on the board as our goal, but I think we're going to break that number easily. I anticipate we will. And not only, just in terms of stealing bases, but like you mentioned, putting pressure on defenses and looking for opportunities to take extra bases when the defense isn't paying attention or the ball's not going where it needs to be. We're going to push the envelope. The players are already doing that in practice, probably to a degree that I'm not always comfortable with myself. But, we're going to take chances and we're going to get thrown out, but we're going to create a lot of havoc when we're doing it, and that'll be a big part of what we do.
Certainly, if you look at last year, it definitely paid off a lot more than, being thrown out or getting caught in a rundown or anything like that. And on your way to about 80 or so stolen bases in that shortened season, very impressive. Talked about the shortened season a little bit a couple times here, but having the full off season, and now you've got a full slate of games throughout the month of February where, like you said, you can get that playing time and get some freshmen and some of the sophomores acclimated to more games in a full season, where last year it was only 5 non-conference games start of the season, and then it's automatically MEC play. Now you've got a chance to get a feel for the team before conference play starts. How important is that for you, just in terms of coaching alone, of being able to look at this team and try different things before the real meat of the season starts?
Yeah, it's super important. We talked to the players the other day, and it's important to have that experience and, like you said, be able to do some different things. I told them, on one hand, do I care about the result? I mean, if we lose and we're getting better, then that's the most important thing. Do I want to lose? No, heck no. I mean, we're going out and we're trying to win every single game, but our goal throughout these preseason games is to make sure we are getting better every time that we go out on the field, and that when we get back into a practice environment, we're working on the mistakes that we made and fixing the things that we need to fix. It's going to be, we play some really good competition in these early season tournaments. Most of these teams will be opening up next week that we'll be playing, so they're going to have a couple of weeks under their belt, and most of them are probably out on their fields practicing right now while we're stuck in tiny spaces practicing. So there's a definite advantage there. We're going to be underdog situation in most cases, which is a role we'll take on. Like I said, I told the team that we just want to keep getting better out there and go out and compete. And if we can do that by the end of the preseason tournaments, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. So.
I'm talking about a little bit of the pitching now, and Sidney Theobald returns as the #1 starter from last year. Sierra Sanderson came in as a reliever in some games and will get some spot chances here and there. But in terms of the pitching staff, it was one of the strengths last year. How do you see it kind of building up this year? Is that going to be another strong point of this team?
Yeah, I think so. We're not going to have as much experience as I would like, but based on what we did in the fall, playing a tough fall schedule, I was really pleased with where we were at the end, and then the development that we continued to have throughout our individual workouts into the winter. We went live the other day. Our batters should be ahead of our pitchers right now, and especially as many times as they've seen them. So the pitchers do have some work to get into game shape and be game ready. But we have a little more depth there. We do have one pitcher that's out due to illness right now. We're not sure when we'll get her back. But we have Sydney and Sierra, as you mentioned, and then 2 freshmen, Kate Chappell and Jamie Roberts, will fill in the other starting and relief positions. And I expect all of our pitchers to be prepared to be able to start games and also come in relief, especially early on during the year when we're still trying to figure out a really good rotation, especially for our weekend conference doubleheaders. But I'm pretty excited about the depth that we have there. A little bit nervous about the experience, but that's all part of it. So I think all of our pitchers have done really well. I think we'll just be much deeper than what we were last year in terms of being able to bring people in and get people out. So I think all 4 of those, and then if we get Alyssa Albright back at some point, that will just bolster the strength of our pitching staff as well. So I'm pretty confident about where we are with the depth there, and then as we gather some experience throughout the year, I think we're going to be in really good shape.
Talking about MEC play and the teams that are in this conference and in our division specifically, preseason poll came out yesterday afternoon. West Liberty picked #1, Fairmont State #2, and us #3. And really, we're right neck and neck there with Fairmont as it was last season through what it seemed like the entire year of fighting for that #2 spot. Looking at this conference, there's a lot of talented teams in here, and you look at the North Division. West Liberty certainly has a lot of talent there coming back. Fairmont State, who we kind of just plucked their starting pitcher, Sierra, to come be our assistant coach now. But they'll have a lot of talent coming back as well. In that top half of the division, then you look at the South Division, the amount of talent that they have with West Virginia State and Charleston. It's a very tough conference to play in, and a lot of grueling, double headers and weekend matchups. Where do you see this team kind of fitting in and like you said, gaining that experience within the conference where I think it's fair to say we surprised a lot of teams last year in terms of where we finished, but now we've got an idea of everyone for this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we shocked a lot of people last year because we were in first place for the majority of the year in the North Division and then finishing 3rd in the conference tournament. We probably even shocked ourselves. I thought we were a little bit ahead of schedule. Now, I was checking yesterday to see if the standings were out, and I didn't realize it until this morning, and I opened it up and saw 3rd, and to be honest, I wasn't happy about it. And I don't think the team, I hope they're not happy about it. We knew where West Liberty was probably going to end up because we'd already seen the preseason top 25, and West Liberty was ranked 24th. Fairmont beat us 3 out of 4 times last year, so maybe they deserve to be ahead of us, but even in lift this morning, our strength coach, Evan, props to him and everything he does. He said he felt disrespected. He was there for us at conference tournament, and we appreciate everything he does to get us ready to play. So, you know what? We'll go in with a chip on our shoulder again this year and go out and prove that we're going to be better this year than what we were last year. It's all about accountability right now and the players understanding what they need to do in practices, lift, even in recovery, to prepare themselves to get ready to play and compete, like you said, in a grueling conference schedule. So we just go out, like I said, get better every game and go out and compete. Things will take care of themselves, and I think we'll put ourselves in a good position. We play every North opponent twice, so 4 times throughout the year, and then the South Division, just 1 doubleheader. But 32 games, and then heading into conference tournament. And we're looking to put ourselves into the first place position for one of the top seeds at the end of the year in the North Division, and then from there, we'll do what we need to do in conference tournament after that. So right now the focus is on just improving in these early season games, and then as we roll into conference play, it's going to be get better every week and try to finish in that top spot in the North Division.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you for coming on today to talk about your team. We always like to get an outlook of the coaches of where they think their teams are going to finish and some of the key players and what to watch out for. So we appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
All right, well, stay tuned. Next, we'll have some more season previews for our spring sports. As always, go Bobcats.